707-578-6101. That's 707-578-6101, or visit fountaingroveinn.com.
This Ted Rohr playing. What is going on here? What is it? Playing polka music here on the show. Welcome back here to the What's Cooking program with the Pennsylvania Polka, ladies and gentlemen. What great thought process here by our group. And apparently we've gone into Dick Sinclair's archive of music and picked out one that Dick himself has personally scratched in our record archives. Paul Stern, welcome back here to the show.
Hey, and joining us here on the program, as we mentioned prior to the break, we happen to have with us Leslie Bonci, author, dietitian, and, the one that's going to tell us to eat like our favorite athletes. And let's welcome on in Leslie to the program.
Welcome,
from
Leslie.
Pennsylvania, perhaps.
Hey, I am delighted to be there, and I did hear that. We're from the town with a great football team because that is that Pennsylvania polka.
There you
Really?
go. We'd like that.
All right, so now you're
Go
making me
Steelers!
think of my choices here. Green Bay, Wisconsin. I have relatives there. In Pennsylvania, a good place for polka. This is going to be a tough Super Bowl game. Who's your pick on this one, Leslie?
Hey, you know what? May the best team win, and the best nourished team.
Oh,
and that's
all right,
really,
all right.
that's what this is about. I can say that.
I knew you were going to get down to it here. So tell me about this. Now, nourishment is important. You work with the Pittsburgh Steelers, is that correct?
I do. This is my 16th season as their sports dietitian and taking on that mantle of nutrition coach. One of the things that I message with them about is the idea of equipping the body internally. Yeah, they got the helmets and the pads. That's the external stuff. But inside, what do you put in order to do do the best you can on the field.
What kind of aphrodisiacs you been giving that Ben Roethlisberger?
What kind of a question is that?
He's in and out of trouble there. You
Now,
gotta watch.
food-wise, that's what we are going to focus on. Yeah.
Okay, food-wise. All right, so you've been doing this for 16 years now. People hear this and they've heard before dietitians this and that. What is the difference? What can you do to give them the competitive difference? What do you do?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, it's about the timing. It's when you eat. And I think for everybody that's physically active, you can't just wait until after the fact or a little during the day and then you shove it all in at night because your body doesn't have the energy it needs during the day. Secondly, it's about the quantity. Now, for them, I would always say never eat anything larger than the size of your helmet. I mean, they understand that term.
For
the rest of us,
That's good.
You know?
I would like to go by that.
There we go. And
I
for
have
the
a
rest of
large
us, we-
head size, too, I might mention. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we all might need a calorie cap a little bit lower. And probably most important is being selective. It's really thinking about what it is that we are putting in, what is that winning plate, and what should be on it. Now, this is not about being perfect, but are there fruits and vegetables on the plate? So something red, yellow, orange, or green that's not a Cheeto or a gummy bear. That's really a criteria for me. And also looking at having protein on the plate. It needs to be there because they need that for the strength. And one of the other ways we might get protein in is plant-based protein food. So not just because it comes from meat in some way, shape, or form, but also putting some soy into the diet.
Okay,
as well.
so we got plant-based. I mean, you got protein that we normally know, like meats and eggs and that sort of thing, fish, etc. But you're saying plant-based, and is that soy? Is that what the protein is?
Did I just hear the S word?
Yes. Now, the reason that soy is because soy as a protein food is equivalent to an animal-based protein. It has the same composition of amino acids that are in it. And when we look at a whole soy food, one of the ways of doing that, aside from edamame, which I must say that my guys love,
the
roasted soy nuts, they do. And we also, but you can imagine also when they have sushi, it's a whole heck of a lot of sushi because they're big boys, is that they do the Soy Joy bars as well because it's one of those items we have available as snack because it provides the whole soy as well as having
so I've seen these soy bars that are out there. You're talking about the Soy Joy bars or whatever. And let's say you're trying to lose weight in your own life. Would you then recommend that you eat your larger meal earlier or prior to 6 o'clock in the evening, and then if you get hungry later on, have like a Soy Joy bar later on for a light snack or something?
Well, what I would say is I think really the ideal is that lunch and dinner are about the same size, maybe breakfast slightly smaller. So we've had the majority of our calories by the time we finish dinner. But that being said, a lot of people are up until later. So having something in the evening, and the nice thing about picking a Soy Joy bar, it's self-contained. There it is the package, and it also is 130, 140 calories. So for most of us, of real people, it fits within our calorie cap.
So you're saying use something, the size of our portion should be what? What are you saying? They say helmet size. You're saying for the normal person, how much should we have on our plate? For a normal person, if we're looking about an 8-inch diameter plate, which is basically more the size of the styrofoam plates we have when we have a picnic rather than the troughs that most of us have in our dish cabinet. That's the size. Trough.
And then dividing it one-third equally. Hey, trough, you know?
I believe
bell,
you said
everybody.
trough.
Dinner bell, come to the trough. Okay, so here's the deal. When we're dining and we're eating and everything, they say like things like lettuce and salads you can eat a lot of. So if you want to trough down at first, can you eat a lot of lettuce, or is that still bad?
Well, the thing is still trying to eat a reasonable amount of food at a time. That being said, if you have 1/3 of your plate that's going to be fruit and vegetable, that's not adding a lot of calories there. You have the protein on the plate because it provides the chew, and then some grain on the plate if you do a rice or a pasta, but it's not just a plate of pasta per se. But I do think that when people start to eat a more reasonable amount of food throughout the day, then we're not having to have such an enormous amount at night, no matter what it is that's going into our body.
All right, now Paul's eating right now. So, Paul, what are you having? And let's have Leslie, if we can here, our guest, Leslie Bonci, dietitian and author, tell us what you're having.
I thought I would go healthy today, and as a little snack, kind of mid-program snack, I brought in from the supermarket some of these, what they call, I guess they're still called the same thing, fruit rolls. Anybody ever pick these up?
Fruit rolls. What do you think of those, Leslie?
Yeah,
well, you know what?
Today.
I mean, the first word of that fruit is really what we're looking for. It was that second word that's a little unnerving. Ideally, if you're picking fruit, real fruit. Yes. Yeah,
because fruit rolls equals stomach rolls. Is that right, Leslie?
Yeah, well, it's just, I mean, if you're eating fruit, then that's what you should be eating. We don't need all that other stuff with it.
We don't need the processing. Exact processing. When you go to the supermarket, and we had the person on yesterday in confusion because a lot of people had stupor looks on their face on our show, and you go on the outside of the supermarket, right? Isn't that where the best food is, on the outside?
Well, if you go on the outside of the supermarket, then first of all, you're not in the supermarket, so that's a problem. But if we look around,
when
you're in the grocery store,
better be careful when you try to mouth off the
4-7 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, ladies and gentlemen. That's good, very good. Okay, so all right, you got to watch portion size. We got to do protein as balanced in with the rest on the plate here, and the greens are good. You're saying for snacks or whatever, and a lot of people have problems getting rid of candy bars instead. You're saying these Soy Joy bars are the things to go to because there's protein in these bars, and that's why we go to these soy-type products.
Well, yes, and when you think about a snack, that a snack is not just, for instance, just having a carb. So it's not just having some pretzels. If you have some protein as part of your snack and you're dividing your protein over the day, that's actually better for overall health and better for bone health, too. And this is one of the items that you can use instead. And again, it puts it within a self-contained amount. And that is not to say that people don't ever venture into some of those other items that are more indulgent, but quite frankly, it doesn't always have to be front and center of eating the things that aren't so great for our body.
All right, Super Bowl Sunday coming up. What are you feeding the Steelers?
Well, first of all, we're not doing anything new. It's everything that they've been eating up to this point they are going to continue to do because it certainly worked well over the rest of this season. And we have a lot of guys that eat light because it is their preference to do so. Some want more breakfast food. Some are eating pasta before. Some will do chicken. It will all be available to them to have. And the other thing I would say to all of us, challenging them to do the best they can do on the field and challenging us to do the best we can do as well. So maybe checking out that website, soyjoy.com, some great information.
All right, now, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
The best team is going to win the Super Bowl.
Whoa, wow, I'm telling you, very classy. Leslie, thanks for being with us. Leslie Bonci there, dietitian, ladies and gentlemen, setting us straight for the beginning of the show here today. Chow down on those fruit rolls, Paul. I'm going to have myself an egg instead.
When was the last time someone offered you a second chance to save thousands of dollars? If you owe the IRS or state at least $15,000, American Tax Relief is offering you a second chance to eliminate up to 85% of